Hello, everybody. Tania Gustafson here, your nutritionist and fitness coach with Fit Nutrition. Welcome to another episode of Fit Nutrition Podcast. So today, as we are already into December, we're going to talk about, tis the season for treats, right? Tis the season for temptation. Tis the season for parties. Tis the season, right? As we head into December, all of the parties are starting up. Whether you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is you're celebrating, there are certainly a lot of treats floating around. I myself did a bake exchange last week with the ladies in my neighborhood, so I know it's out there. And for a lot of people, that causes a lot of angst and stress because they're like, I've been so good. I've been giving up sugar and I've given up this and I've given up that and I'm finally lost some weight. And, you can only hang on so long. And if that's you, if you're that person that's been saying, I've given up, and I've been counting and I'm tracking and if I want to eat that cookie, oh my gosh, that uses up all my points for half the day. If you are that person, this podcast is for you, okay? Because I just want you to know that you can have the Christmas cookie and still keep your weight. You can still do Christmas without gaining weight, but you can still enjoy some treats along the way. Okay. And this is how we do it. So I'm just going to share a little bit with you today because this is a super important topic, and the holidays and special occasions, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, whether it's Christmas, whether it's, relatives come to visit, a new baby is born, whatever it is, I challenge you to come up with an occasion where we don't celebrate it with some sort of food, some sort of food stuff, right? That's just the way we are. Food brings people together. It brings us around the table. We sit down, we break bread together. We have a cup of tea together. We do something like that. It just brings people together. And so for those people who are so anxious and hesitant and fearful because they don't know what's going to be served, they don't know what I can eat, what can I have when I go there, then that's just creates it's a massive source of stress. And when your stress level goes up, your cortisol level goes up, and that causes your body to hold on to fat. So, we really don't want to cause that, because you may not be eating something, or you may be very careful counting all the calories of what you're eating. But if you're stressed out for the entire week before you go, and the whole evening that you're there, and you're hanging on by your fingernails, and you're just trying, to be good, that stress level is through the roof, and your cortisol level is up, and your body is already storing fat. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there. So you need to breathe, calm down, and let's just talk about how we can attend the holiday dinners, how we can do parties, how we can get together with our friends and our family and, sit around the table, have a good meal, have a few treats once in a while, and really enjoy our time. Okay, so here we go. So first of all, let's just point out that seeing as we're heading into Christmas, we're going to use Christmas as the example. The Christmas party that you're going to is only one meal. The Christmas dinner that you're going to have with your family is also only one meal. If your spouse also has a job and there's a Christmas party there, well, then that's one more meal. So basically there's 3 meals you have to worry about in the entire month of December. So when we break it down that way, that just should lift a little bit of the stress off, okay? Because it's not like every single day something's happening. Now, I do understand. I used to work in a school, and everybody loves teachers and everybody loves all the staff there. So there was constant barrage of goodies around this time of year. Okay, so if that's your environment as well, what I want to say is, first of all, we're going to talk about balancing and never arriving hungry. So when I say arriving, that could mean at the party, at the Christmas dinner, at your place of work, okay, at the school to pick up your child after school, arriving home hungry and having to rush in and make dinner. Any of these times are high stress times, because there's something happening and there's a time limit or a time commitment. And if you arrive there hungry and starving, you're not going to make good decisions that you're going to be happy with later. You're going to grab the first, usually very processed, highly processed, maybe it's a sugar item, carbohydrate type food, or you're going to run through a drive-through on the way home. All of those things. It's because when you've let yourself get so hungry, when you let your blood sugar drop, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I had the graphic up there. When we do that, then our body is burning muscle, but it's hungry. It's burning the muscle because it needs some fuel for the body. So you get that hangry feeling, right? And your blood sugar is down so low, your body's like, I need it to come up. I need it to come up. So it keeps poking you. It's a hormonal issue. It's poking you to tell you, I need you to do something now. And that's when we don't make the choices. It's like we're just responding to these urges that our body is telling us to, because we haven't fueled it. So on the other hand, if you are continually fueling your body, eating your PFCs every 3, so your proteins, your fats, your carbs together, right? We need them all together. 3 is the charm, in the right portions and the right frequencies throughout the day, like we always talk about, even when you're going to go to a party, even when you're going to go to that Christmas dinner, even when you're a little bit late running out the door and you have to go to work. What can you have prepped ahead of time so that you can take something with you? Maybe you want to take a protein shake in the car, or a protein bar. Maybe you want to take some fruit and nuts that you can munch on as you're driving, something, right? So that when you get there, we'll take work, for example, you get to work. If there's a whole bunch of goodies on the staff room table and you arrive there and your blood sugar is nice and stable, you're now making that decision. Yeah, I don't really need that. You really don't have the craving. You might like what's there, but if it's not something that's your favorite and you go, oh my gosh, I haven't had this forever, I really want one of those, that's different. And we're going to talk about making a choice in a minute. But that actually gives you the freedom to say, yeah, I probably don't want that. Because now you're able to make that decision from a place of hormonal balance and stabilized blood sugar. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. If it makes sense, give me a little comment below. If you're watching in the 8 weeks group, drop me a 1 below. Okay. So if that makes sense to you. And anyone ever arrived at a function like that, super hungry, or arrived at work and there's like donuts in the coffee room, and all you want to do is just, oh my gosh, I know I shouldn't, I really don't really want one of those, but you're just so hungry that you grab one. And then later on, you kind of beat yourself up over it because you're like, I really shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? Right? So arriving fueled and ready to go and fired up, not hungry. Okay. So you want to fuel your body so you can ignite your metabolism, keep it on, and then thrive through your day, through your life, through whatever. That's why FIT, right? Fuel, ignite, thrive. That's why I named my company Fit Nutrition, because you want to fuel your body in a way that's going to ignite your metabolism, keep that thing churning and burning so that you can thrive in all areas of your life. So back to the staff room table. So it's all full of these goodies. When you're fueled properly and you arrive with your metabolism fired up and your blood sugar is stable, your hormones are balanced, you're good to go. You make those choices. Now, if there's a treat there that's like, oh my gosh, I haven't had these in years, I love those, I would really love to have one, then that's great, then have one. And you would be satisfied with one. Whereas if you started having one and your blood sugar was low and you hadn't fueled properly, you wouldn't be able to stop at one, and you'd probably eat several. And you wouldn't feel very good later, physically as well as mentally, because you'd be beating up on yourself saying, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done it. You're shooting all over yourself, right? Not a good thing to do. So that same thing applies for whatever occasion. So when we're feeling throughout the day, then it keeps us going for all the occasions. Now, this is going to come especially for the holiday parties and the dinners, because this is sometimes where that mindset goes a little askew. And people tend to think, oh my gosh, well, I know there's going to be a massive buffet of food at the Christmas party, and so I'm just going to save my calories and eat them all tonight. So they might have like a little teeny bit for breakfast or something, and then they're going to like keep busy all day and not have anything and get ready for the party and just go there and then eat like crazy when they get there, because now it's like, well, I've saved up all my calories all day, I can just make them up tonight. Doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. So what happens then is you have your little breakfast, or what we know, you have a little snack somewhere along the day, but really you haven't done much, or you eat irregular throughout the day. You're just kind of picking little tiny bites here and there because you're really saving it up. What you're doing is making your blood sugar drop. And we know, so let's just refresh your memory here. Let me bring this up for you. Hang on 1 second right here. Okay. Let me just share the screen for you. Okay, so let's bring up the blood sugar chart again, because it's always a good review. So again, you don't have to know those numbers on the far left. If you were a diabetic or someone you know is a diabetic, you might know those numbers. Again, here, all you got to know is 3, right? Proteins, fats, and carbs, PFC every 3 hours, and that keeps you stable. So take a look at the middle zone is where you want to be, right? And when we talked about when you're saving up those calories and you're not eating, your blood sugar drops way down here. Right? And that's a signal to your body to tell you, hey, you're hungry, have something to eat. I need to bring that back up into the middle zone. And when you don't all day long, you get hangry. Sometimes it shuts off your hunger signal, actually. If you're someone who does this regularly, it will shut off your hunger signal. And some people tell me, well, I'm only going to eat when I'm hungry. I don't feel hungry. But they've done this so long that it keeps narrowing their scope of when they feel hungry. And now they're only eating, twice, maybe only once a day. They're clearly not fueling their body. So when your blood sugar drops way down here in the bottom there, and your brain never shuts off, right? We know that the brain controls our body, controls all our functioning. It has to keep going. And it needs that constant supply of food that's going up that we put in. Now, if we're not putting in, oops, what happened? The brain's going, hello, I need that. So, sometimes when you don't eat, you get a headache. You get that in the back of your neck, in the back of your head, you just feel, your eyes kind of, it's like, you get tired around the eyes, and the concentration starts to wane, and you can't focus as long, and you can't attend to things. And, right. So, I've been there, I've done that. And so what happens is that's your blood sugar dropping. And so your body is searching for food. It needs to get some food up to change to glucose and send up to the brain. It needs a protein source. Well, the only protein source, if you don't give it one, is your muscle. So your body's going to take muscle, it's going to burn it, take it and use it as fuel for your brain. So now you've chipped away at the muscle. So then when you go to that party, you're so super hungry by the time you get there. They always have snacks out. They always have hors d'oeuvres out, whatever. Usually they're chips, cheese and crackers, pretzels, something that's usually very carbohydrate-y, like processy, right? You grab into those right away because you're so hungry, and immediately your blood sugar spikes up and you start to store fat. What usually happens as well, somebody comes along and offers you a glass of wine or offers you a Christmas drink. Again, it's like, it's like having a piece of white bread when you have alcohol. It's a very high carbohydrate spike. So you spiked it with the snacks because you were super hungry. Now you're having a beverage to wash it down with nothing to balance it. And so there goes your blood sugar. Again, you're spiking and storing more fat. Now you sit down at the dinner table, or you go to the buffet, whatever they have, and you've saved it up, right? Because you're going to eat all the things that you want tonight, and you don't care, and you're going to eat as much as you want, which, by the way, is something you can do for a celebration meal. But I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So you eat way too much, that, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling so great, but it was so good and I just wanted to do it, and whatever the reasoning, whatever we do, because people do this. I mean, everyone's done it, right? And your body can only metabolize so much. The blood sugar spikes again because you've eaten too much and you're storing more fat. So really, all you've done, you may not have eaten enough those calories earlier in the day. You haven't spread them out. You've saved them all and you've eaten them over here at dinner time. But what have you done? The other thing you've done is that you've burned off some muscle and you've stored fat multiple times over during the whole evening. So you really haven't gained any ground. You've actually put yourself farther behind. Whereas if you had eaten your PFCs every 3 in those small meals throughout the day, all the way, made sure that you had, something before you went to the party, because we all know, right? There's the hors d'oeuvres out, there's the drinks, there's everything else that you're going to be presented with when you arrive there. So maybe have a protein shake on your way to the dinner, because you're not going to be served food right away, or half a protein bar in the car, something like that. So that when you get there, if you choose to have an alcoholic beverage and someone hands you a glass of wine, you've already stabilized your blood sugar. You've already got something in your system to help temper that carbohydrate spike. So you're going to still get a little bit of a spike, but you're going to get like this, as opposed to one like this, So you're going to be doing your body a great service. Plus which, when you arrive fueled, you're calm, you're going to be more likely to go and visit with people. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel good. rather than looking for the first little bite you can, think to snack on because you're so darn starving. So you're going to enjoy yourself more as well too. Plus you won't have the fat storage that you would before. Now, so staying fueled before you go. So that's how we want to rock ourselves through the holidays. All right. Is staying fueled all day long. Don't eat don't save it up through the day, right? Not like eating a lot and saving it for later, or the other way around, not eating it and saving it for dinner over here. Neither one of those things will serve you. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're fueled. So having the things that you need with you or fueling before you go, and that's going to really help. Now, the other thing is you don't have to say no to foods and things like that as you're having your favorite dinner, your Christmas dinner, your party, all that kind of stuff, thinking, oh, well, yeah, I'm watching what I eat. I'm trying to lose some weight. And so I can't have, and then, fill in the blank. What you need to think about is all the foods on this planet fall into the category of a protein, a fat, or a carb. So just identify what the food is that you're eating that you would like to eat, and then pair it so that you have your PFC together. So if you're, if you want to have a dessert square, well, those usually come after dinner, right? So if those are usually a carbohydrate and a fat. So if you're having it after dinner, you've already had your protein. If you want to really stay on plan, avoid the really starchy things and the breads and stuff, and have your protein, your vegetables, and maybe you have a little bit of alcohol because you're having your Christmas cheer there. And then there's you're having your dessert afterwards. Now you've already had some things to help balance that. Does that make sense? Rather than just saving everything up and then eating a couple sweets here and there because it's going to spike your blood sugar. So the calorie number doesn't have any bearing on the balancing of your blood sugar, or very little bearing. It's more about the portions and the frequency throughout the day. So I hope that's resonating with you guys today. I hope that's given you a few tips. Those are my tips. And the last one, super important. When you do go to choose something, because you can definitely go off plan for sure. We call them celebration meals, off plan meals, whatever. We never call it cheating because we're not cheating on your life. This is your Christmas, your anniversary, your holiday, whatever it is, your party. You need to enjoy it. So if you're choosing to go off plan, that's fine. Keep your body fueled throughout the day. Remember, it's only one meal. And then if you choose to go off plan, you have whatever drinks you want, whatever food you want, in whatever order you want to eat them, however you want to do it. And then 3 hours later, you're back on plan. Okay. And so suggesting that 3 hours later, you're like, oh my gosh, I ate too much. I really don't feel like eating. Okay, then have half a shake. You don't have to chew anything. You can just drink something, but that will let your body know that you're still continually fueling it. You haven't abandoned it. You haven't gone back to the irregular eating, and you're giving it something liquid to help things get going and help your digestion get going. Okay, so that is my tip for that. And then the last one is, if you're trying to stay balanced and stay on plan as much as you can over the holidays and still enjoy a few treats, be choosy with your treats. Okay, and what I mean by that is, instead of just, oh, there's treats out, it's Christmas, I'm just going to try them all. Take a look at what's there. Be discerning. If those little rum balls are your favorite, then absolutely, oh my gosh, somebody put out the rum balls, I'm going to have that. Or maybe Nanaimo bars are your favorite. Ooh, look at that, I'm going to have one of those. Okay, but the studies show that when you are choosy and when you are picking something that you really enjoy, or something you really wanted to try, maybe you've never tried it, but you're like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing, I would love to try that. That's what that one's speaking to me. The studies show that people are satisfied with a smaller portion, and they'll eat it slower, and they'll just be so satisfied and guilt-free. Whereas if you just kind of throw caution to the wind, don't really pay much attention, and just like, yeah, I'm going to just pick at this and pick at that. And pretty soon later on, you're like, oh my gosh, I think I ate 3 or 4 things and I don't even know if I enjoyed them. And now the guilt starts to come because you're thinking, well, I just randomly put things into my mouth and I wasn't even thinking about it. So be discerning. And so you're going to enjoy it much more. You're going to be satisfied with less. So not to say that you need to deprive yourself, but we all know that sugar's not that great for us either, right? So if we can minimize something in a way that we're still going to be enjoying our evening and enjoying our time, that's where we want to go. right? Okay. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me here on Fit Nutrition Podcast for 'Tis the Season of Treats. So I hope that you are enjoying your season. And remember, wherever you're going, whether it's a party, a Christmas dinner, celebration of some description, it's really only one meal. It's not a whole week. It's not the whole month of stuff. It's really only one meal. So look at it that way, break it down, and do enjoy those occasions, because we don't want to fear food. Food is fuel. We need that in our body. Food either fuels your body or it fuels your soul, and we need both. And this is the perfect season for you to dive in and really, really learn that and get that under your belt. So thanks again for joining me here. Come back again next week for another episode of Fit Nutrition Podcast. Have a great day.